Welcome to Good Game Radio.
Welcome to GG Radio. I'm your host, Sirius X.
And I'm your host, Hazmatch.
And we got a banger for you guys here today. We've actually got a guest host here for you guys today. We also got our topics, which is going to be about Black Ops 6, Space Marines, and a plethora of other things. So grab your popcorn, sit back, relax, and we are heading on down to the Game Zone.
Game Zone.
All right, what's going on, guys? I know we have been out of the game for a little bit. Sorry, it's just been It's been busy. Honestly, we're old and we have stuff to do in our lives, so it's just gonna be one of those where it's like, hey, we'll get there when we get there.
Yes,
but
sir.
as I said in the beginning, we do actually have a guest host here today, and I would like to introduce him. It is Ryan. What's going on, Ryan?
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, I appreciate you coming out and recording with us here today. Love to have fresh people on the show to be able to kind of give their own opinions on games and things going on in the gaming world today. And I think this is going to be today's going to be a good one.
Yes, sir. You guys may also notice that we are going to try a new format.
We are going to try a new format.
This may only happen for this episode, but we seem to think that this will be somewhat better. Gives you guys something to watch, but essentially we're just going to be actually playing games while we chat. And it just gives a little more depth to the content. So we'll see how it goes. It may stick, it may not, but we're going to try it and see what happens.
Yep. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started with our first topic of the day, which I'll actually push it over to you there, Hazmatch. What you got for us?
So, for our bullet points, we only have one, and it's one I'm quite excited for. Space Marine 2 is releasing tomorrow.
Oof. Oh, I'm so excited, but we will definitely be getting into that here in a little bit. I think. You know what? Actually, no. Let's just go ahead and get started with that one. Since we're already on that topic, might as well.
Yeah, may as well.
Space Marines 2. All right, let's talk about this. I have been excited for this game ever since they announced that it was coming out. Did you guys ever play the first one? I want to ask that first before we continue.
I actually have not played the first game. I have a little bit, and I mean a very small amount of experience with the tabletop that it's derived from, but I've never played any of the video game adaptations of the IP.
What about you, Ryan? Did you ever play it?
Not at all, actually. I didn't really know it was a thing.
So I do have to say, just to give you guys a little bit of context. So if you've ever played any Warhammer games, I will say one thing that they make it challenging, which I like. I really like it, the fact that they don't just sit there and be like, okay, here you go, we're just going to do everything easy for you and whatnot. It's actually here, we want you guys to play a fun and challenging game. And that's exactly what they did. So one of the big things that I want you guys to, or want everybody to know, if you've never played this game, is they have it to where, kind of like in most shooter games, solo shooter games, of course, is that they have checkpoints, right? And of course, if you die, you go back to the most recent checkpoint. Well, the way that they do it in this game is there's only one checkpoint per mission. So it's either it's either you get to that checkpoint and then you're solid, or you die and you have to restart the whole mission. And
That's pretty badass, actually.
Yo, dude, it definitely gives a whole new meaning to how
Challenging.
difficult the game can be. But other than that, the gameplay, it was solid. It was a third-person shooter, which, I've always been the kind of, an FPS kind of guy. But this kind of a third-person shooter definitely holds a true spot in my heart.
Now, did the first one come out during the golden era?
It did. So the first one came out back in when you had the 360 and the PS2, PS3 era. So it definitely was in that good stage of gaming. Hence why I also think it was by far one of the best games I ever played.
Hell yeah.
I do have to say though, I have not played in quite some time, so like storyline wise, I can't necessarily remember too much. I know I still have the game, so I may actually go back and play it again before I pick up 2. I have not looked up any gameplay because I know if you pre-ordered it, you can't. People have been able to play it early. I have not watched any gameplay. I have not watched anything on YouTube, TikTok, anything like that because I don't want to spoil anything. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
even know if the storyline is connected in any way, shape, or form, or if it's literally just here you go, brand new storyline to a fantastic game. I don't know.
That'll be interesting.
But I can't lie. I have seen a few things. I have seen a few things on TikTok and YouTube as well of the game.
Would one of
But
those happen to be the clip of, I can't remember where it's like some dude in a big mech suit and he says, "Lead me to the slaughter," because that's what I've seen and that sounds so cool.
yes, I've seen 2 clips. One is of that mech like completely obliterating an alien, and then the other one is just the gigantic horde of aliens that just come straight at you. And I'm like, oh, this game's gonna be good. That's all I've seen.
Hell yeah.
But I have heard nothing but good things for the game. I have not heard anything negative. I've been told that the gameplay is smooth. The fighting is like the combat is fantastic. So I'm really excited to see how this game turns out. If you have not played the first one, please definitely play the first one. I think it's gonna be. Like I said, I think it's going to be worth. Yes, it is going to be worth it. I'm really hoping that the storylines are connected. I hope they are. But then again, I don't know. I haven't played it in forever, so I can't even remember what the original storyline.
Definitely up there.
Yeah. What are now for this game? What are you excited for, Hazmatch?
Well, so with the gameplay I've seen, it basically has everything that I like when it comes to it. It seems very Gears of War-esque to me in that you have a team, a squad, if you will, of just armored up fucking badass military guys just chewing through enemies of varying types with dope voice lines. I mean, it looks like a high octane action-packed freaking battle royale. Not battle royale, but just battle royale in the sense that you're just getting a bunch of action, chainsaws, blood and guts. Like, it just seems like it'll be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since it relates to a topic we'll get into later in this video, it seems like it'll be a good competitor for one of my weekly plays, that being Helldivers. Seems like it'll be a good competition for that.
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, I think Helldivers is definitely got to run for its money when it comes to this game coming out.
For sure. So, well, do you want to get started on that?
Yeah. So, next topic we're going to go into is, of course, Helldivers 2. For those of you who have stuck with the channel, we did talk about Helldivers 2 in one of our earlier episodes and how great the game has gone, kind of the direction it's been going in. However, unfortunately, this is where, as with most games, the downfall. So unfortunately, I do have to say that Helldivers has now hit that downfall spiral. The player base has become almost non-existent, in my personal opinion. To give everybody a little bit of context here, at its peak, the player base was about 458,000 congruent players playing the game at one time.
Yeah, it's like an initial release cycle.
Correct. As of yesterday, the player base didn't even make it above 45,000, which I know 45,000 is still a good amount of players, but with how this game works and, getting those missions from high command, and it's a numbers game. The more people that are completing missions, the more you get towards your actual, high command mission. It's not happening.
Yeah, your major orders for sure.
Yeah. So because of that, and yes, major orders. Thank you. So because of that, the major orders aren't being completed and things aren't being done on time. Not only on top of that, but the devs completely screwed the player base with the updates and stuff they were doing. So they completely nerfed all the good guns in the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And not only on top of that, but when they finally... They ended up nerfing the fire damage that you receive, which is something that the player base has been begging for a long time. They finally did it. But then also nerfed all fire weapons as well.
Which was almost not critical, but was a big counter to the bugs specifically, because them damn Terminids are just ridiculous if you don't have a good arsenal to go up against. I mean, they swarm you like nobody's business. And so to critically nerf one of the best counters to the Terminids, just with no other way to put it, it just makes no freaking sense, dude. Like, why? Whose idea was this, and why was it greenlit in the first place?
So the devs ended up coming out and actually stating that they screwed up. They're like, "Yeah, we messed up. We're sorry. We're gonna fix it." And everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Finally, they're actually gonna fix the problems that they made." Oh, but it's gonna take 60 days to fix it. What?
Yes.
What do you mean 60 days? Why?
That's a long time to.
It's like what you
situation.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would you wait 60 days to fix a problem that you admitted that you made? And with the lackluster what's it called? Oh man, I'm really gonna stumble on this one. But the pretty much like the battle pass items that you can get or whatever, they bring out a bunch of them every. War bonds, thank you. I do not know why I couldn't remember that. But with the lackluster war bonds that they've been bringing out and the repetitive missions that you do, I mean, the game started to become stale. And it doesn't surprise me that the player base was leaving. And then, of course, on top of that, then you nerf all the good guns. You nerf the fire weapons to help you with Terminids. And it's like, okay, now you're really just trying to kill your player base. And of course, the whole cool thing about this in the beginning was the fact that one guy was controlling how the battle was done.
Yeah, the game master.
And everyone called him Joel. Yeah, they called the game master, and they called him Joel. Well, come to find out, they ended up admitting that Joel's not going to do it forever, but they're going to have an AI system that keeps it going. So now what you're telling me is that an AI is going to keep the war going forever. So there's never going to be an end to the war. Okay, so what are we fighting for?
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole game just pretty much went downhill within the past few weeks.
Maybe even a couple of months, because some people were starting to tap out the moment all the nerfs started happening. And I mean, in the very beginning, people were kind of sniffing the blood in the water and saying to themselves, hey, like, this is a bad precedent, we're out.
Yeah.
It was just that simple for them.
Don't get me wrong, I still have fun with the game. I still enjoy the game from time to time. I haven't played the game recently, I will be honest. I have not played it recently. I still think it was a good game. I liked what they were doing with it. But it just, there's no new content. There's really nothing else for us to really do.
Yeah, even their most recent edition was well, go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead. Let's hear something from you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so like, is this like a big seller? Because like, again, and my apologies, like I haven't played this game, or if there was like a first one that came out. Like I've been listening to you guys talk a little bit about it, but like, as Steven kind of said, like it seems like a lot of people kind of stopped playing it. So like, is this gonna be something where they really want to fix at all, or?
So here's the issue. Okay, one, it's only on PC and PlayStation. They still have yet to even say that they're going to release it to Xbox. And honestly, by this point, I don't think it's going to happen. And even if they were to release it to Xbox, I don't think that player base is really going to increase. It may increase a little bit, but not much. And even with it being on PlayStation, the issue that they had, which honestly probably started the whole downfall, was that PlayStation was being very selective on who could actually access the game. So, if you were in a different country other than, America or Europe, then you couldn't even play the game. You did not have access to it because they restricted the access to that stuff. And here's the fucked up thing. Oh, and not only on top of that, so not only was it restrictive, but what they were also trying to do was that in order to play the game, you had to have a PSN account. Even if you were on PC, you had to have a PSN account. And again, in some other countries, you can't have a PSN account. So you essentially were telling players, you can't play.
Man,
Yeah.
so that's like a big settle off right there, because like,
Right?
It's
Exactly.
It's actually more nefarious than that too, because initially, like when the game first came out, it was not a requirement and people could play. It wasn't until later on in the game's life cycle, after they got people hooked on the game, that they actually rolled that change out. And that is when the issues of some people getting locked out, because the countries that can't play are people where PSN is not available at all. And that's where the problem became, that some people were getting locked out of the game because they were now suddenly asking for a requirement that was not necessary. Sony was too. The studio, by and large, was not a fan of this change either, but they're owned by Sony. They have to listen to the dumbass, out-of-touch CEOs that run the company. And so, yeah, people who physically could not access PSN at all, they to this day they still can't play the game, and they paid for the game too. They paid the same, what was it, $40, $60 for the game that all of us played, and I think some refunds were issued, but by and large it was a change that they eventually had to roll back, but by then the damage was done already.
man,
So I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really think there's anything that's gonna bring this back. So there's even talk of them bringing the Illuminate back, which I know, Ryan, you were talking about if there was a first one or not. So there was an original Helldivers, and the Illuminate were actually one of the biggest enemies in Helldivers. But in that game, you actually eliminated the Illuminate altogether.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem Helldivers 2 is going to face on a longevity scale, is the fact that, like you were saying, the first one, there was an end to it. The first one was a top-down, or maybe it was more so isometric, twin-stick shooter that you could have, you could invite 3 of your friends, you could squad up, and that was like mission-based. There was a progression to it. It was completely different. Helldivers 2 comes out and is completely 110% reliant on the player base staying active, because there is no offline content. There is no like separate mode where you can go, hey, nobody's playing like Total War, whatever they would call it if it was its own mode. Let's go play this instead so we can at least keep playing the game. No, if it becomes a game where only a couple hundred people are playing, you're just straight up not gonna have stuff to do because you can't get into the game. There's not enough people. The game's gonna die, like actually die. Now, of course, you might get some people on the PC side of things who do what a lot of folks do with older games to keep them going, and they'll sort of, in a sense, run servers themselves so that way you can play it. But even then, man, like, what is that going to be? A couple hundred people? That's not going to keep a game like Helldivers 2 going.
Yeah. So again, at the end of the day, it's just going to be one of those where I personally don't think there's anything that's going to bring this game back alive. I just don't see it.
With a 90-day time frame, it seems very unlikely. Or it's not 90, sorry, 60-day time frame. It seems pretty unlikely.
Well,
but you never know. I mean, maybe if it's taking 60 days, I have half a mind to believe that it's going to take that long, because they're really about to put the pedal to the metal on fixing this game and changing a lot of stuff. Now, that's a bold prediction to make, given the current state of gaming and how a lot of these studios take a lot of time for very little. That's just kind of the way it is right now. But you never know. I mean, they could start rolling these fixes out and really improving the quality of the game, and some people could come back. But with Space Marine 2 coming out tomorrow, it's going to have a lot of competition. And Space Marine 2 doesn't require there to be thousands of players to keep it functioning. It's just going to require you and 3 of your friends to play through the campaign, the story mode, the missions.
Yeah. And I'm definitely more excited for Space Marines 2 than if they actually bring the Illuminate to Helldivers.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like a really cool game, and yeah, I'll be in that. I may not be a day one player, but I'm gonna find my way to that game eventually. Did you get stuck?
Oh yeah. No, I'm good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong, and that Helldivers 2 does make a comeback, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
So.
and that's fair. That's very fair. As someone who gets on there about once a week, I still have a lot of fun with it, especially because I use shotguns, and shotguns, more or less, I haven't noticed a crazy difference in like their damage output. I know that I think one of them got like the amount of ammo you can carry nerfed, or something to do with the ammo, but it's not one that I use, so I haven't really been affected in that sense. But I'm in a couple of like groups and forums, and that's really the general. A lot of people feel the same way you do. Like they think it's too late, and that's a bad spot to be in.
Yeah, I was gonna say once you get into that spot, it's very difficult to get out, no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
Because once the player base gets bored of it, don't get me wrong, there are going to be those handful of people that come back and continue to play the game, but
right,
it's just going to be like any other game. Yeah, it's just going to be like any other game. Once the player base is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now let's get on to the fun stuff. Black Ops 6.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Black Ops 6. Ryan, why don't we let you take it away? What are your thoughts on Black Ops 6?
So I've got a lot of mixed opinions for the game itself. I mean,
Okay.
I was really having some high hopes for the game. And, seeing as it's only the beta, I can't really speak too much onto it because, the game isn't fully released, so not everything is out. Not all guns are accessible right now. But I will say right now something about the new movement they had added to Black Ops 6 and the Black Ops series in general. Well, Call of Duty, all I really gotta say for it is, I guess, I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about it, saying that it's a skill-based thing, but I really don't think it is myself. I think it's they added some movement into the game that really wasn't necessary for a lot of players that play on Xbox and controller. It's hard. I really think it's going to be a PC flying game. I don't think it's going to be a console controlled platform. I mean, I do fine in the game for sure, but with the movement itself, I feel like the game is going to be taken over by PC players in general.
I can see that.
Unfortunately, I will say one good thing that I love about the game so far is going to be the zombies. They brought back ground-based. A lot of people have mixed opinions about how they're going to do the zombies with the spawning with loadouts, and I personally feel like this is going to be a good zombies. We finally have a round-based platform for zombies again, and that's been missing now since the Modern Warfare series has really taken over. But I mean, other than that, I feel like the game runs fine. The one other thing that I don't really care for is the just about half a terabyte for a download. I'm not a big fan on that. I run a terabyte and a half on my Xbox, and that's a big piece. So it's like, you can basically only play this game or delete it and have to download it again for about 3 hours.
Right.
I mean, so realistic. What do you guys think about it? Because I don't want to go on too far about the game, because I mean, it really just sounds like I'm really hating on it, and I don't mean it to seem that way either. But
So, to play off of a few things that you said, number one, when it comes to like the storage for it, I do want to say that that is actually not the full game, because I know that was probably the first thing that a lot of people say is like, holy crap, like I'm not going to be able to play anything else. So that they actually stated that the, what was it, like the 500 like gigabytes or whatever the game is, that's if you were to download Black Ops 6, Warzone, and Modern Warfare 3, because for some reason that's what they're going to combine it with, which I think is kind of dumb. Like,
they're doing
please
that
don't give
Call
us.
of Duty HQ shit.
Right. No, I know that. I was like, because they did that with what was it? What did they do that with? They ended up doing that with the
Oh hell, at this point they've done it with MW3.
Cold War and Vanguard and Modern Warfare. That's what they did that with. They did the whole thing, and it just became like one big game. But the actual game of Black Ops 6 is only going to be like 206 gigabytes, which again is still a lot, but it's not, half a terabyte.
are you splitting up the culture of like Warzone and multiplayer though?
So
Because I mean, I feel like usually you'll download both. As I play multiplayer and Warzone, I'm just speaking probably for some other people that, might have like the
Correct.
same.
So I do know that Warzone, of course, is still gonna. It's pretty much gonna be again the same thing like they did when it came to Cold War and Modern Warfare and Vanguard, where it's still gonna be the same. Warzone's still gonna be the same, but they're gonna add in the Black Ops 6 guns to Warzone, which we all know that just means that if you don't run a Black Ops 6 gun, then you're gonna lose. But that's that. As for the game itself, I personally think it's fantastic. My first game on, by the time it was all said and done, I said out loud, I was like, yeah, this is going to be my Call of Duty. And I can't, and still to this point, I still say that. I think the beta was fantastic. There wasn't actually a lot of issues with the beta, to my
agree with
knowledge.
that.
Like,
Yep.
there wasn't a lot of lag, there wasn't a lot of glitches, there wasn't any sort of unfairness in the game. I think the guns were pretty balanced. I mean, granted, yes, just like with any Call of Duty, there are those set guns that are going to be better than the rest, which, I mean, that's how a lot of games are.
That's just gonna
I
happen.
got
You
a
can't
quick
have
question, though.
total balance. Go ahead.
So like, you had said something about like the game ran smoothly and everything, but I mean, I can say this, and a few other people that I play with can say that the game itself, I mean, you'd go to load up and then all of a sudden, like, boom, you're like kicked out. You'll be in the middle of a game, boom, kicked out. You'll be back to dashboard and such.
That did happen like the first day or two.
The first
and I
day,
think 'cause
yes,
they were
you are correct.
Server stress testing. I could not get those damn words out. They were they were stress testing the game with the servers. So that does make sense, yeah. Because that happened to us
I was
a few
gonna say,
times.
I will take it back. Yes, you are correct. That did happen to me a few times, but yes, it was only on the first day. I didn't experience after the first day. I didn't experience anything else. No other issues.
Yeah.
But again,
I
that was
feel
just me.
that.
I know everyone had their own experience when it came to it. I'm sure I did hear that some people had issues with the game still lagging them out, which I didn't realize it was doing that, but I guess that was the case.
Right.
So what are your guys'
Excuse me.
thoughts on like the zombie platform of the game? I'm super excited.
excited.
To hear you talk about it.
I'm excited for zombies. I think the round base, like bringing round base back, was probably the best thing. Now, you mentioned the whole having a loadout. I think did you ever play Cold War Zombies?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Cold War Zombies, same thing. They had loadouts. Like you had the ability to customize a loadout, and that was the gun that you went in with. So I think it's pretty much going to be along the same lines as that. I don't think it's going to change anything else. I think it's gonna
I don't
be
really
more-
have a problem with it. I mean,
I think it's just one of those where you pick your gun, you put attachments on the gun, and then you bring the gun into the game. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything too crazy. I don't think it's going to be one of those where it's like, oh, why am I going to have all these overpowered guns? There's no point in buying guns at all in the game at that point. No, I think it's just going to be one of those where, kind of like with Cold War, you get to just bring a gun in with you rather than start with a pistol, which is fine. I didn't have a problem with it in Cold War. I don't think I'm going to have an issue with it in Black Ops 6. I am excited. Like I said, I am excited for the round-based zombies to come back. I do like a lot of the new stuff that they are going to be adding into the game. Like probably one of the biggest things that I am excited for is the fact that you can now join your friends while they are in mid-zombie match.
That is going to be
I
really
like
Before
that.
you can be able to do that.
and you can like pause and exit.
Correct. You can pause and save, which I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on that one, but hey, for those of us, we're old, we have jobs, we can't always play,
for
for
12
12 hours a day. I think that's a great thing to add to the game, is being able to save and say, all right, let's go ahead and come back to this tomorrow or something like that. Now, the only big thing that I hope that they do is they do allow you to create those different save files, because the last thing you want to do is save your progress and then you can't go into another game by yourself. You have to wait for your friend to come back, or you just lose all that progress and you have to restart.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I'm sure it's going to be that way, but we won't know until the game gets released. What was the other thing? There was one other thing that they added in. I know we talked about it in our last episode. I'm trying to remember what it was.
In zombies?
Oh, if you get let's say, because I know Cold War used to do this a lot, if you lagged out of your game or your game froze, and then you go back into the game, it'll put you pretty much right back to where you left off, because the game is constantly saving.
Yeah, it creates like a backup, essentially.
That is
Yeah,
like
so that-
super cool.
So that way you don't lose anything, because that would piss me off all the time. And I would sit here and I would play with Carrie all the time, and either she would lag out or I would lag out, and we come back and we lose everything because the game didn't have that kind of functionality to it.
Yeah, and there
And,
goes all that progress, and you didn't
Right.
lose that progress because you lost. You lose it because the game itself messed up.
Right. And it was like, you could be 6-7 hours into the game and your game freezes. Like, what am I supposed to do at that point? It's like, I don't even want to play again.
Yeah.
Like, I just lost all that progression for nothing. So yeah, I really think that that's going to be a great addition to the game that they've added to it. So I'm excited for zombies. I really wish they would have given us the ability to play zombies in the beta, but I mean, I can understand why they didn't.
That's going to be
but-
their biggest asset to the game.
Absolutely. But what about you, Hazmatch? I know I kind of pretty much stole the spotlight there. What's your opinion on the whole thing?
No, you're good, buddy. So I'm at like a 50-50 split with it. Well, maybe more 60-40. So let me just start off by saying that I do actually genuinely enjoy this Call of Duty. Since the 2019 reboot, because I really did have a good year with that. But since then, I've kind of been in and out when it comes to the COD franchise as a whole. I did stop by for Modern Warfare 2. I did stop by for Cold War, but they weren't like main games. It's mainly, okay, it's on sale, kinda, sorta. So I'll pick it up because I know you guys play it, a lot of our friends play it, so I'll hop in for some games. But I just kind of play other things these days. But my first week with the Black Ops 6, or maybe not first week, but my first, when the first beta's life cycle, that's what I'm trying to say. When the beta first came out, and we had that initial first cycle of it, I genuinely was enjoying it. I think Omni Movement's really cool. It's not like some huge game changer like a lot of people think it is, in my personal opinion, like it's just kind of now you can sprint left, right, and back and dive in different directions. Uh, so I don't think it's like some huge feature, but I do think it's a very cool feature, and I have a lot of fun using it. And I like the maps so far, except for Derelict. I can't
stand it.
I can't fucking stand
I'm
it.
I'm on the fence with that one. I'm not gonna lie. I do really good at that map at times, and there's other times where it gets annoying. But personally, I think I'm on like a 85 to 15% when it comes to that map. I've actually been enjoying that one. I'm not
Now,
gonna
do you
lie.
guys think they're gonna add their worst maps for the beta,
No.
Oh yeah.
or do you think?
Oh wait,
'Cause
wait,
I don't
wait.
think
Like,
they're gonna release like their specialty maps right off rip in the beta.
no, I was gonna say, I'll tell you right now, all the maps we've seen is probably what is all we're gonna see, and then of course, because they said there's gonna be 16 maps,
Right.
and we've only seen what, 6 to 8 of them. So I mean, we still got a bunch more left to see.
For sure. And I do want to make a note. I want to give them a lot of praise on the map design. They finally, and I wasn't there at all for MW3 and only there for a little bit for Modern Warfare 2. So this isn't, I guess, a new thing. More so, they've just done a very good job at it with this one. But I love that we have finally ditched the 3-lane map crap that they were doing for a while. The maps have a dynamic flow to them. Like, what's the map? I think it's called Skyline. The fancy apartment map.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the pool area. You've got the staircase that leads to the catwalk. You've also got that underground sort of section. Oh damn, we both went down. You got that underground section in a sense, and you can go through like the elevator shafts, and it just creates like dynamic ways to get from one end of the map to the other. And I love that stuff because COD used to have a lot of that in it, like during its golden era. So it's not like you're playing the same way every time you get on a particular map. You can actually vary how you want to move about and do stuff, and that just makes replaying maps all that much more fun because you can do different shit. It's not like, oh, here's map 1, we're gonna run the same loop the entire time because that's just the most optimal way to play it. Now you have actual different ways and rules of engagement, and it just varies the gameplay a lot, which is nice, and I really want to give them praise for that because that's one of my favorite aspects about it so far.
So, I'll make you laugh. And you said it's not the same 3 lanes. Technically, it is. I'm just gonna say it. Like, technically, the map is a 3-lane map. The difference is that there's levels to the map. You have an upper level, you have a lower level, and the best part is that the upper level is like more of a 2-lane, and the bottom level is more of a 2 to 3 lane. It's not, they're not 3 lanes across the board.
Well, that's that's fair. I can see that take. Yeah, I can see that.
So, well, honestly, what they tried to do in Modern Warfare 3 was actually remove the whole 3-lane altogether, and just have it be more of like an open kind of map. And actually, players hated it. So the golden era that we're used to is actually a 3-lane map, but of course there was like levels to the map. It wasn't all just like one straight level, you know. But no, I do know what you're referring to, and I definitely do agree with you that the way that they have these levels set up is solid.
Yeah, other than the train map, I can't stand that.
Other than Derelict.
Yeah, other than that, and I only don't like that one because the first couple of times we played on it, people were legit going prone in the bushes, and you just straight up could not see them. And
No, yeah, I hated that.
I would get killed so many times with no like way to really counter it because I can't see the people I'm supposed to be fucking shooting at, and it was getting on my damn nerves.
Can I add something real quick to it though?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Like on a touch of the zombies aspect of things, as basically the kill cams for the zombies once you die. I don't know if you guys saw that on like TikTok. So like basically the zombie will like bite your arm or like attack your face.
So it's a little animation after you die.
Yeah. I
That is
really
pretty
like
cool.
that. I thought that was like a really cool addition to the game, as you know, usually when you die, you die.
Right, and that's just kind of, you just go down and that's it, sort of sense. Ow, this.
Yeah, so yeah, you go down, the game is over. But what this one, yeah, what he's referring to is that what this one does is, you go down and like the whole team gets, or the whole squad gets wiped out, and then it goes into like a cutscene of you dying in a specific way by the zombies.
I'll see, that is pretty tight. I do like the
Yeah,
sound of
I
this.
did see that. I think I saw that just a few days ago. I agree with you. That's actually going to be pretty cool. I like how they did that.
Yeah, that does seem pretty cool.
Another reason of like why I feel like the zombies part of Black Ops 6 is going to be their best feature.
So a couple, I was gonna say one of the topics that I don't think we've really talked about is the campaign, because I feel like they haven't really given us a lot to really talk about until as of recently. Ended up finding out that one of the things is this, the timeline of this is supposed to be after Black Ops, but of course it's supposed to be after Black Ops, and then it's gonna be like right before the events that occur in that, or no, I'm sorry, the events after those flashbacks in Black Ops 2 with Mason and Woods and Hudson.
mm,
So one
I
of the big
really hope they
things,
bring that back.
so one of the big things, and spoiler alert for those of you who don't know, they did admit that the actual canon event is that Alex Mason does die by the hands of Woods.
right,
That
yeah.
is the canon
Oh.
story. Yep. So spoiler alert, that happens. So
It's an old ass
yeah.
game at this point. Spoilers are.
So pretty much what it is, well, no, I'm saying spoiler alert, like if people didn't know how they were going to be doing the game for this one, yeah, no, it's
Oh, gotcha.
Mason does actually die. Yeah. So
Now-
pretty
Now,
Go ahead.
I'm curious on the fact of like, did it go in depth detail of like when it happened? Because I remember like an animation from the game itself, the old campaigns, of us having to shoot Mason,
correct.
thinking it's Mandela.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mean Menendez, but yes, I know what you meant.
Yeah. Sorry.
So yes, that
Yeah.
I was like, Mandela. I had to think about that for a second. I don't know why I did. Yes. So that is exactly what they're saying. That is how he dies. That is the actual canon event in the game. Is you're on that rooftop as Woods, and instead of actually shooting Mason in the leg, as the actual story suggests, you do shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. And then, of course, no, go ahead.
So I remember the fact that, you know, Black Ops 2 had like a bunch of different endings, and you know, I'm just you know, it was Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. There was a bunch of different endings where Mason actually survived.
Correct.
So like, is this gonna be is this really set in stone, or is there gonna be another, like a few different endings for this one as well?
No, it's going. Well, so I mean, if you're talking about is Mason actually going to be alive or dead in this one? No, Mason is dead. As for the ending for, I mean, as for how they're going to do the storyline for Black Ops 6, nobody knows. They have not really released any information in regards to that, so we don't really know. But of course, the other thing is Hudson. Now, I don't understand why people question whether Hudson was going to be in this one or not. Whether you shot Mason in the head or Mason in the legs, it didn't matter. The event still occurs that Hudson gets killed by Menendez no matter what. So that is also going to be the key thing is that Hudson does die no matter from him. So he's not going to be in this one either. However, they did state that this does still take place before the events of Black Ops 2. So there is a possibility that we may actually see Menendez at some point in the campaign. There is that possibility. We don't know, but that can be a possibility if you go based off a timeline. Menendez is still alive during this time. So Is there a possibility we may see him? Yes.
That also opens up the door for our boy Harper to return too, if it's before Black Ops
Harper's
2.
dead though.
Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, so I jumped the gun right there. My bad.
So I
like,
think. Sorry, go ahead.
Harper died on the airplane base, correct?
No, so he would have, depending on what you chose, Harper would have died when. Who were you playing as? I think the team had like a contact in a specific country, and they were trying to get good with. See, it's been so long since I played the BO2 campaign, but essentially you are trying to get in good with the big bad guys team, and in doing that, to prove your loyalty, you have to shoot Harper and kill him yourself. That's how Harper goes out.
The difference is though again, Harper. I think the problem is that just based off of timeline wise and everything, Harper, just as well as David, they're probably still kids by this point in this timeline.
Oh,
so
I can see that.
You probably wouldn't even see Harper in this. I mean, you may see him, may not. I highly doubt it. But I mean, is Harper alive in this? Yes. Like in this timeline, yes, he would be.
I can see what you're saying though. They may be too young to actually make a cameo.
Correct. Now of course we are going to see Woods. Only we're going to see Woods in a wheelchair.
But he'll still be there.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the only cameo that we could possibly see in the game, just based off of timeline, is we could see Menendez.
Which would be cool. It'd be cool because he was a good villain. He was a great villain.
Yeah.
He made you hate his guts, which is what a good villain does.
Right. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what other cameos we could possibly see. I mean, granted, we already know that we're going to be seeing Adler, which they've already mentioned that. We already knew that.
Yeah, Adler and Harper are going to be in it from Cold War.
Yeah. But other than that, I really don't know.
Real quick, just so I can finish my point from earlier, just how I was feeling about the game. So I already talked about week 1. Week 2 is where my split starts to happen. Especially today, I noticed it when we were playing earlier, and I'm sure you and Gary could tell because I was getting mad as fuck in this game. So let me start this off by saying I don't mind being bad at a game and playing it to get better. I actually appreciate that. So this is not me saying that like I'm done with the game. I'm definitely playing, especially because it's on Game Pass. I don't have to pay a cent. So I'm definitely going to be playing this Call of Duty this year. That's already set in stone. But what I am already noticing is how ridiculously sweaty this game is going to be. Like it already is. People are already starting to learn this movement system to a ridiculous point and are just doing crazy shit, and it's getting hard to keep up and keep track. Again, I haven't been playing Call of Duty like every day for the past couple of years since the reboot, so I'm definitely probably in a minority there, but I'm not a casual player either. Like I can hold my own in COD. But I can already tell that there is about to be a huge gap between people with other shit to do in their life sometimes and like people who haven't seen the sunlight in over a decade playing this game. And that's really my only contention with it. It's something that anybody who wants to can learn if they want to get good at the game and stay and keep up. It's definitely something like it's a skill issue at the end of the day. But the gap for that skill issue is going to be very, very, very apparent in this one. Go ahead.
So are we we'll lean back towards like the multiplayer trifecta thing that you guys are talking about. Like the hitboxes they added, the different ways you can die. I feel like they did take some good amount of time into like, you know, the small things of what matters in a game, you know. And I really appreciate the fact, they did some things like that. I mean, I felt like it was really important and to make their game fly because they're only going to get so many people that are going to want to play multiplayer.
True.
Warzone's been taking over for a really long time now, and like unfortunately, like only big streamers were able to like do the beta Warzone thing, which really sucked because like I'm more of a Warzone guy than anything.
That's fair.
Um, only because like I think about ranked, and I feel like everybody's dream is to like make it big in video games, to never have to work again, and to play video games. And I feel like Warzone offers like a really big window for that.
I could see what you're saying. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
And like so overall, I think the game is gonna do fine. I think it. I think we're gonna be going into a good spot with the game itself. I take back originally what I had said about I really didn't care for the game because there's only certain things that I didn't and I don't think that was very. Yeah, I think I was more letting emotions speak on things than I was like factuals, because the more that I talk about it, I feel like the more I can really see in liking the game as I'm playing it right now, by the way.
Well, and you made some good points, man. I mean, to like a game doesn't mean you have to like everything about the game. I mean, I've been a die-hard Halo fan forever, and Infinite fucking sucks. Okay, like Halo Infinite. I mean, it has its strong points, but Halo Infinite just fucking sucks compared to like the 1 through Halo Reach era. And I have no problem saying that.
The storyline's good.
Yeah, the storyline is cool, but the actual, like, they're trying to make it too much like other shooters in the genre. It's just not. You're not playing Halo anymore. You're just playing futuristic Call of Duty essentially with less movement options. And I have no problem saying that. But if anybody ever asks me, how do you feel about Halo? Oh, I mean, to this day, Halo 2 is my all-time favorite game, and that's just is what it is. So, like I was saying, I plan to be on Call of Duty this year. I think it's going to be overall a good year for COD. Black Ops 6 is shaping up to be a fun experience, and that's the most important part, is this game was actually fun to play. It's hard to get bored playing Black Ops 6, and that's something they really nailed for me, and I think a lot of other players, and it sounds like you guys as well. So it seems like it's going to be a good year all around.
I definitely agree with you on that. And now again, my problem is you sat there and you said that today, like, there was just so many sweaty people. I didn't personally notice that, but also at the same time, Call of Duty is one of those games that I'm really good at too, so I feel like maybe I'm the sweaty guy.
Which is why I'm glad you're on my team.
Like, I'm out here dropping 80 kills a game, and there's still people in the lobby, dropping like 20, like trying really hard to get 30, and and this is one thing that I'll bring up is like, as you guys know, there's a ranking system for Warzone in Modern Warfare.
Yep.
And like a big thing about it is like the amount that can make it to like platinum or diamond, the percentage of actual people that play the game. A lot of people don't make it to diamond. A lot of people don't make it to platinum. I think it was like, if you made it to platinum, you're in like the top 15% or top 25%, which I feel like is fairly good for the game. I'm not sure like what rank you guys are, because I really didn't play much with you, Steven. Going through like Modern Warfare, I feel like we just like started talking again and playing video games again together. So like my question is, like, you said there was a lot of sweats in the game.
Yeah.
I feel like in Call of Duty, throughout the game proceeding through, like, not only in Black Ops but Modern Warfare, Advanced Warfare, all these first-person shooters, were you always really good in them, or like? And don't think I'm hating on you either, because I'm
No,
definitely
not at all. Not at all. You're good. So I was good at the older ones, cause I played them daily, and so I think that might be where I messed up a bit. So I just wasn't a daily player from after the when they did the reboot in 2019. So
Okay.
I got pretty trash. Again, I can hold my own, but I'm not gonna sit here and speak on this as if I'm a pro at COD. That is definitely more y'all's territory because y'all have been more regular players of the franchise in the recent years. So I have no problem saying, like, that's why I even made the point earlier, like, I have no doubt it's a skill issue. I have no idea it's the fact that I haven't been putting the time in to keep up with just how these newer games function. And like I have a lot with the movement I got to get used to. And granted, there are still times where I'm putting way more hit markers when I should, but Call of Duty's been synonymous with that since its inception into like COD 4 multiplayer space. So that's just kind of something that happens. Sometimes you gun a guy down and he's got time to turn around, but that's not new to Black Ops 6. That's always been happening.
No. So,
But
honestly, I'm like really excited to play with you throughout like Black Ops 6, going through, because I feel like they're gonna have a ranking system in the game. I'm not sure if that was like released yet, but like honestly, like with kind of like following up with what you had said, before about, you really want to. Oops, sorry guys. I was I was doing something in the game real quick. I kind of got lost.
no, you're good.
I appreciate the fact that you were like, learning the game, knowing you have more to learn and playing the game anyways is like
Yeah.
really important. And I feel like that's like one thing that I feel like you're gonna do great with, especially like still willing to learn.
Yeah, man, because, like, I was a big old school COD player. I mean, it used to be one of my favorite franchises. And it just took some directions in more recent installments that I wasn't a huge fan of. And so I didn't keep up with it. But, like, that's kind of the bridge right now between, like, me and you guys is the fact that you guys are skilled players. You know what I'm saying? You've kept up with it throughout the years, whereas I'm more so a tourist, if you will. I've just stopped in and played some times, and then I get bored of it and I move on. But Black Ops 6, I genuinely think I'm gonna have a very good year with, and I want to become a regular player again because I'm finally having fun. Like, I'm having a good time squatting up with people and going in, and even if I'm not doing so well, I'm just enjoying what's going on. I get pissed off sometimes, but hell, I'd get pissed off at the sun if it looked at me funny. So that's not like a critique of mine. You know what I'm saying? that's a me problem, and I can deal with that. But no, this is gonna be a good year, and I want to be a part of it this year.
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited to have you along.
Yes, sir.
Well, I can definitely tell you that they have announced that in season 1 there is going to be ranked for Black Ops 6. So that is going to be something for you. I think it's going to be both multiplayer and Warzone as it is before, which I'm good with either one, whichever one that we get into, because I've played ranked for both. However, there's going to probably come a point where I'm not going to be able to play with certain people. Because if it's anything like it was with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, I was a diamond player, both multiplayer and Warzone.
Right.
So
yes,
it's just gonna be.
You're the guy I know as the best COD player I know in person.
I appreciate
that. That's gone to you for
You
the
know,
past decade.
Yeah, that hurt a little. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I don't think I played with you actually.
Not Modern
on
Warfare.
COD.
No.
Have we
have
played
not
Black
played
Ops yet
Modern.
though? Did we play the beta together? Because I don't remember.
I would say yes. I want to say, we played. Maybe not. We might not have played together in this one. I've played with Steven. I think it's.
He learned how good I was at ranked.
Okay, so you played ranked with Steven.
No. I'm saying you learned how good I was at ranked because our first game of ranked Warzone, I dropped 11 kills. And you're like,
In comes the
Sure that was
Redditor
me?
in the comments that says,
Yeah?
I go 20 kills.
Yeah, because it was you, myself, and Steve. I remember that. It was you, myself, and
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah,
and you
that's
were...
right. We were like crushing. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. I forgot. You, me, and Steve were like crushing. I forgot.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, there is going to be ranked in Black Ops 6, so that'll be something good to do.
I will say, like
That's-
with
that's gonna
Omni
be
movement, I
something
think
take
it's
slowly.
rank for me a little different. And like, are we talking like multiplayer rank, or are we talking Warzone rank?
Both. I mean,
like-
honestly, I'm good with both.
Do you guys think they're gonna actually take the full plunge with Warzone and merge all the Black Ops 6 features into Warzone, or do you think they're gonna keep
Yes.
it like it is?
No, they're definitely gonna put all that into Warzone. Omni movement, the whole 9 yards. I think that's gonna be in there.
And that's cool. That could also keep the. That could also. I think Ryan, you were mentioning that there's like 2 different cultures between Warzone and like multiplayer. Do y'all think that's gonna only complete the, like, cause a further split, or do you think more people will be willing?
I think with
to
the
play
Omni
both?
movement for sure. I mean, because generally, you know, when people play Warzone, they are playing to play very hard. You know, the first thing they think of is like, you know, holding hands together, running through, stacking up, and you know,
Yeah, for sure.
that's really not how multiplayer I feel like works that well. Like I feel like, and I could be wrong because I don't play multiplayer like that anymore. You know, I go on there for a little bit. I'll play Search and Destroy with my friends, but you know, I feel like there's a huge split between Warzone players and multiplayer players because, you know, Warzone has plates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
You know, so there's added health to the game. And I feel like in Warzone, you need to play a certain type of way. You know, you've got to run away, know when to heal, use a stim, or throw your shields on in the right moment. When to reach out. Because, you know, that person also has plates, you know, and in multiplayer, you don't. So you hit a stim, you're back in the fight. Fully.
Right.
In Warzone, you hit a stim, and you push somebody, more than likely, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna die, you know, if you're not a skilled player and know what you're doing. So, like, not just everyday regular multiplayer player that never played Warzone is gonna go on Warzone and just go crazy.
Right.
So I can personally say, since I've played both Warzone and multiplayer ranked, there is definitely a distinct difference in how each of them kind of play out. However, the biggest thing is that you know, working as a team is still probably going to be the biggest factor in both game modes. Doesn't matter which one. Like, you cannot. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot in Warzone nor multiplayer think that you're going to be able to carry your team to the win, because you're not.
No.
If you do not,
I mean,
especially in multiplayer, because the difference with ranked multiplayer is one of the big things that you're gonna have to realize is being able to understand your surroundings, your teammates that are getting into fights, and being able to get that trade in. Because of course, like you said, with Warzone, you have plates, and being able to break off to plate back up and everything is a big thing. But in multiplayer, you don't have the plates, so you're gonna die more easily. And so you know, like in certain ranked game modes like Search and Destroy, you have to make sure that your teammate's ready to trade that kill. Because if you don't, you're already going to be down numbers. There's callouts are huge. The difference in callouts in Warzone are substantial compared to callouts in multiplayer. Because callouts in multiplayer are very more precise in my opinion, but that's also because, you know, they're the maps. It's the same thing. In Warzone, you're on a very, very, very big map. So you may not be able to actually give a specific call out. Like in multiplayer, you'd be like, oh, he's, you know, behind left dumpster up the staircase, or, you know, whatever. You know, with pro players, you know, if you ever watch the pro players play, they actually create names for those specific locations in multiplayer. But in Warzone, yeah, you can make the call out from the specific AOE, but that's about it. Like you can say, oh, he's on the left, he's on the right, he's, you know, 275 north or whatever. That's pretty much the extent of the call out.
Right. And you also have a ping system that a lot of people fail to use for some fucking reason.
Oddly enough, you can use those in both. You can use that in multiplayer.
You can use it in both.
Oh. Here's me learning that.
Like, you know, that's what I'm careful of who I play ranked with, whether it's multiplayer, whether it's, you know, whatever said, you know, platform it is. I feel like you have to be careful with who you run with.
Yeah, I mean, hell, man, it's been that way for a while, because you always want a good squad. It's a team-based game, after all.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a team-based game.
Here's the other big difference between Warzone and multiplayer. So with Warzone, you have players that are like, everyone's gonna use the meta weapons. Like, if you're not using the meta weapons in Warzone, you're gonna lose. Doesn't matter.
True. Very true.
Okay. Same thing when it comes to multiplayer. The difference is that in multiplayer, you know, especially when it comes to like pro players, when you really look at that, is you need to assign your players. What I mean by that is that, you know, you're gonna want to have an AR, a submachine gun, another AR, and another submachine gun. Well, the problem is, you have to ask yourself, who's going to play the AR? Who's going to play the submachine gun? Most people won't even think twice about it. They'll just pick a gun, and that's going to be the end of it. But if you're going to play with an actual team that you're going to, you know, climb the ranks with, you're going to want to make sure that everybody understands their significant part to the game. So you're going to have one AR who plays the long game, meaning that he plays pretty much backline. He plays for those far challenges and everything. And then you're going to have your aggressive AR player. Your aggressive AR player can play at long range, but usually also plays at mainly at medium to close range if he can. And then you've got your sub duo, right? Your sub duo, you have the one sub duo who is your, you know, first blood kind of guy who's ready to get into the fray ASAP, while you have your other sub player who kind of co-works with not just the faster sub player, but also co-works with your close to mid-range AR player as well. And a lot of people don't seem to realize that there's a lot more that plays into multiplayer and how you strategically play it than anything else.
Oh, for sure.
There's actually a lot of strategy to multiplayer that a lot of people don't actually realize until you get into those higher ranks. And it's like, you learn it when you get into the higher ranks, because you realize that if you don't do it like that, you're not going to win. Like, if you were to have everybody play SMGs and you're playing on a long map that would definitely be beneficial to have an AR player in, and you don't have one, well, you're probably going to lose those long distance fights.
Right.
Like, here is the big question. Do you think there is a split between, you know, multiplayer and Warzone? Whether it's ranked or not.
Correct. I think there is, and I think that, and this is just me personally, I think that it is a lot harder to be skilled in the multiplayer version of ranked than it is to be skilled in Warzone ranked. I think it's a lot easier to climb the ranks in Warzone than it is to climb the ranks in multiplayer.
I would even add to the argument and say a big part of that is because of Warzone having a heavy RNG factor.
Correct.
You gotta worry about like what loot you find and where you drop and who's dropping with you, and then enemies nearby, how they're playing, how they're feeling that day, if they had a good day at work, if they didn't. You know, like Warzone's got a lot of RNG to it, so I could definitely see that point of view that multiplayer takes.
And you also, I was gonna say, and you also have to think about it. In multiplayer, you only gain SR if you win. If you lose SR. While in Warzone, you don't necessarily have to win. You just need to be able to get a good placement or get some kills.
That's
and
valid.
A decent placement.
That's a valid argument. Honestly, that's a super big piece to it. Is
you know, if I were to sit there and camp in the same spot. Yeah, oh, of course, until you get into the higher ranks. But I mean, like, if I were gonna sit there and want to climb, you know, bronze, silver, and gold, and do it pretty easily, you know, I could sit there and camp in the single corner for 98% of the game, and when there's like 5 teams left, I can start poking out and trying to see if I can get a kill here and there. And even if I weren't to get a kill, guess what? I'm still getting SR because I camped, because I literally ratted it out until I could get SR. Now, like you said, once you get into the higher ranks, you can't really do that. But again, when it comes to multiplayer, you can't play multiplayer and expect to get SR if you lose. You have to win, and that's why I think it's also harder to. Climb the ranks, is because of that specific reason. You know, if you're not playing strategically with your friends, and you're just going all willy-nilly, you're trying to, you know, one-man army it, you're gonna lose.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, good.
It does too, you know. It's it's been a big argument, you know, between back and forth, and you know, I think that's the difference between ranked right now, and I'm curious to see how it plays out with the new Black Ops. You know, I definitely feel like this Omni movement is going to be a super big game changer to ranked system in general. You know, you're going to get some kids in here that are, you know, they're just going crazy. I mean, I've already seen some pretty nuts stuff with the movement so far, and speaking of, somebody had brought up earlier about some bugs in the game, right? There is one thing right now where it's called like a frog hop. It's where you like throw yourself backwards in the prone position and then jump and just keep spamming A, and it puts you in this like looped like flip type rotation, but for you it's only one button. That is one thing that's been happening. And I seen it in a game, and realistically, like it changes the hitbox so much it'll mess up your aim assist, so you can't lock on. And you know, if they don't fix that right away once the game drops, everybody's gonna do it, you know.
And ranked is gonna become a cesspool of people abusing that mechanic. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh yeah, everybody in ranked abuses anything that's meta. You know, a specific type of movement. I remember when the first Warzone ever dropped, there was no sliding. Like there was, like people were slide canceling, but not like how they are now. You know what I mean? Like in Modern Warfare now, people are going crazy, like breaking people's ankles, you know, breaking camera views. You know, a few big streamers like Ghost of Caldera, you know, and I feel like with this new Omni movement thing, this is gonna be more of a skill-based game than, you know, we've ever seen before. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of us older gentlemen ourselves, like you know, including both of you and me, as we get older, obviously, you know, we don't learn as fast with the newer games coming out. It's gonna, you know, and it works like that with all games, but we're eventually gonna come down to a point where, you know, we're not gonna be as good as anymore, and I feel like this is gonna be one of the Call of Duty where unfortunately, I'm gonna still play ranked, but I don't think I'm gonna be playing how I was, which is it's super sad.
Shit, you're telling me.
I'm actually super upset about the fact because, you know, I played with a couple of my buddies, and, you know, I'm watching them go, and I'm like, wow, I'm not learning that as fast, and I'm not moving as good as they are, and unfortunately, all those people that you see on the other teams going crazy, you know, are little kids.
That's true. Yeah.
You know,
That have the time and hours in the day to put into it consistently.
you know, and I look back and I see FaZe Apex, FaZe Banks, you know, FaZe Rug, when all those guys were playing, you know, in their day, they were the best players. You know, FaZe, Optic. I can't really say so much for Optic Scumpy because, you know, he's been crushing things in Modern Warfare. I actually been killed by him myself, and I'm a fairly good player, and he made me look ridiculous. He made me feel about as small as an ant could be. And I'm excited to see what this brings for the new players too. You know, new players coming and learning this, you know, the new mechanics. Being that this is the first Call of Duty on Game Pass, you know, is a super big step. We're gonna see people in this game that have never touched a Call of Duty. I guarantee it.
You could definitely see that, yeah, because it already comes with a subscription. They don't have to pay $70.
Right. You know, a lot of people didn't even buy Infinite Warfare when that dropped because everybody heard bad reviews about it. Nobody even
the
bought
game's
it.
terrible.
That game
Oh,
sucked.
it is terrible.
I was gonna say, I don't care what anybody says. Infinite Warfare sucked.
That game
No,
was
it did.
so
It did. It was really bad. Unfortunately, I was really good at it, and I did play it. And it was hard for me to find people to want to play it with me.
I think I only played it for 3 hours, and then I said, nope, I'm good.
I played it a little bit, but I will say, like, hold on. I'll check my my days played in Modern Warfare, and I'm sure it's crazy. Do you guys have like any idea like what your game played is?
On Infinite Warfare, I'd have no way of checking.
No. I'm more or less talking about like Modern Warfare. Because Steven, I know you played Modern Warfare a good bit, I want to say.
Dude, I played too much Modern Warfare. I think a very unhealthy amount.
I'm running 48 days.
That's it?
Yeah.
Dude, I can definitely tell you, I have a lot more time on Modern Warfare. Wait, Modern Warfare 3 or just Modern Warfare?
Modern Warfare 3, like this one.
Yeah.
Like
very unhealthy amount.
So it's.
Well, don't be
Like,
shy. Tell us the number.
I'm looking at it right now. I had to stop. I had to find a safe spot so I could go check it. $182 days, 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Wow. That's insane.
I told you, I play a very unhealthy amount of Call of Duty.
Well, it makes sense you're the best player. Be on that grind.
Here's what's fucked up. That I don't even play full days. That's just when I come home from work.
I was about to say that's me coming home from work.
Still. Well, and again, technically you're looking at Call of Duty HQ 2, which isn't gonna split the hours between like the modes you play too.
Yeah,
So
like I said, this is.
but
Well, and that's the thing too. You know, I mean, we're talking about Modern Warfare 3, which also includes the Warzone in general. So I mean, yeah, 182. All right. Honestly, I'm surprised they even have that much in that. So I'm wondering if this also combines Modern Warfare 2, because I know Modern Warfare 2 is also part of this. So I'm thinking that's exactly it.
It is.
So, because I was like, I mean, I work 9-hour days and I only play for a couple of hours each day. I really don't think I've hit 182 days on Modern Warfare 3 alone.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that shows for Modern Warfare 2 as well. But still, Modern Warfare 2, Warzone, and Modern Warfare 3, 182 days? Jeez.
He really likes COD.
I do. Told you, it's my favorite game to play. And the whole reason it's my favorite game to play is because it's the game I'm really good at.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
The only other game that I was really good at, when it first came out, was playing ranked in Halo Infinite. I almost got to Onyx. I was literally so close to getting Onyx in Infinite.
And it just, I imagine it just got boring for you, like it did for me.
No, I just the guy I played it with. This is probably not for stream.
Oh, that's fair.
This isn't probably for stream because it gets really sad real fast.
Well, that's fair. We can skip over it. That's fine.
Unfortunately, the guy that I used to play it with, we no longer play it. So, but yeah, he was able to get to Onyx. I think I was just a few games away, but I actually ended up stopping.
That's fair. Yeah, I did too, because I just got bored to tears. It doesn't feel like Halo. But anyway, I don't want to get on that tangent. I do want to make sure we're all on the same page as far as time goes. We've actually been at this for a good minute. It's almost midnight.
Good lord.
Yeah, so if we wanna go ahead and speed run our last topic, I can do that for us real quick, and then we can wrap.
I'm good for it.
All right. So final topic, and it's actually quite literally a speed run, whether we intended it to be or not, but just because this is all we know about it. But Borderlands 4 got announced.
Yeah. And I guarantee you it has everything to do with the fact of how bad the movie was.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Serious? They made a movie?
Oh, yeah.
It's so
bad.
It's so shit.
So they got a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, and the box office was only like what, 2 million, if that.
Yeah, it's a historical failure. We are actually alive at the same time of one of the worst box office flops ever. Like, this movie was bad because they spent all of their money on actors who have no business playing the characters they're playing. They spent it all. Their whole strategy was to put all their money into star power and just say fuck it to every other aspect of the movie. And lo and behold, that didn't work for them. It didn't work out at all. Kevin Hart is rolling. So yeah, but I think whether the movie did good or bad, they were gonna make this announcement around the same time. I kind of feel like the movie was just to drum up hype for the IP again, because it's been a little bit since the third game came out at this point. Before they announced the fourth game. But yeah, the fourth game you can wishlist it on Steam. It's officially coming out. I don't remember a release year. With the rate everything's going, probably 2025, because 2025 is just, I don't know, everybody seems to want to put something out next year. Like, everybody seems to want to put something out next year. Like, fuck 2024, and in a sense, kind of to hell with 2023 as well. Like, it's all about 25 for some reason. So yeah, hopefully next year, with all of that's going into it, it's gonna be worth the wait. Especially because GTA 6 also got delayed indefinitely. that was another little small topic to go over. But again, that's really all we know about that. Is it is now announced that they are delaying it until 2026 or whenever.
Do you feel like that's because Black Ops 6 got dropped instead?
No.
No,
The problem is
Call of Duty's been yearly for years upon years now. So at this point, if somebody's gonna assume that a Call of Duty won't come out and decide to release their game and then decide against it because a new COD's coming out, it's just kind of like, bro, use your eyes at that point. So I doubt it's because of Black Ops 6. But who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, the problem is that they were saying that so many officials were stating that it got delayed indefinitely, but there's no credible source. And when
That's
speaking to the devs about it, the devs have no comment.
See,
So,
so
like-
because the way I read it was that it was from the devs themselves that said it, but I have not taken it upon myself to confirm nor deny that. It just seems like a lot of people seem to believe it, so I just kind of rolled with it on this one. But that could be complete BS too, because that happens. It could be complete BS.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see.
Amen to that. We absolutely will.
So. Well, Ryan, we do sincerely appreciate you coming onto the show today. I think this was a fantastic first start to having guests on our show. I think you definitely had a lot to bring to the table, especially when it came to Black Ops 6. But no, again, we do appreciate you coming on and talking with us for a good chunk of time.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate,
Yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like, the topics are really good and very strong. I apologize for not the 2 games in the beginning.
Nah.
It's
But
fine.
for sure, definitely gonna download them to, give them a shot if you guys like them. And, we'll definitely talk furthermore on things in the future.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you never miss out on an episode. I'm Sirius X.
And I'm Hazmatch, and this is Good Game Radio.